Hello everyone. In the series of geography lesson agriculture after food crops other than grains, we are going to study today non-food crops. What are non-food crops? That are not used as food. Crops which are not used as food known as non-food crops. So what are non-food crops? The very first one we have rubber. Rubber, it is an equatorial, equator, as you can see in the picture. If I show you, in this picture, you can see this latitude. You can see here latitude. The longest latitude is known as equator, which is also known as 0 degree equator. So, this region is known as equatorial region. It is an equatorial crop. What is an equatorial crop? Rubber is an equatorial crop, but under special conditions. It is equatorial, but under special conditions. It is also grown in tropical and subtropical areas. It can also be grown in tropical, hot and humid areas as well. It requires moist and humid climate with rainfall of more than 200 centimeter, or plenty of rainfall required, and temperature above 25 degree centigrade. So what are basic climatic conditions required? Rain more than 200 centimeter, temperature above 25 degree centigrade, and tropical or subtropical regions. As you can see in the picture, this is rubber plant. There is a bowl tied to the plant and rubber is being collected. Rubber is an important industrial raw material. It is very important for industries, rubber industries. It is mainly grown in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands, in Garo Hills of Meghalaya. Where are Garo Hills? Garo Khasi Jaintia. These are in Meghalaya. So it is an important industrial raw material, especially for rubber industries. And which are the main states for its production? It is mainly grown in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Garo Hills of Meghalaya. There are many hills in Meghalaya. Some of them are Garo Khasi Jaintia. Next one is fiber crops. Other than grains, there are some crops, fiber crops. Basically, four fiber crops are produced in India, grown in India: cotton, jute, hemp, and natural silk. Cotton, you know very well. Jute bags, you have seen. Hemp. Nowadays, hemp is not used, but maybe some of the cots you have in your houses, there is a possibility those cots are made with hemp. The thread that is used in the cot, maybe, hopefully, it is made of hemp. And natural silk are the four major fiber crops grown in India. The first three are derived from the crops grown in the soil. The first three, cotton, jute, and hemp, are grown in the soil. The latter is obtained from cocoons of the silkworms. But the fourth one, latter, the last one, is obtained from cocoons of the silkworms fed on green leaves, especially mulberry. You may have seen the plant. In Hindi, it is known as sahtoot. Rearing of silkworms for the production of silk fiber is known as sericulture. So, what is sericulture? Sericulture is rearing of silkworm for the production of silk fiber. Apiculture, you must know, rearing of honeybees. Pisciculture of fish. Next is cotton. Next important crop, fiber crop we have cotton. India is believed to be the original home of cotton plant, as it is believed India is believed to be original home of cotton plant. It is said it is started in India. What is started in India? Cotton production. Cotton is one of the main raw materials for cotton textile industry, and basically it is used in cotton textile industries. In 2016, India was second largest producer of cotton after China. If you talk about the year 2016, India was second largest producer of cotton after China. Even at this place, even in the production of cotton, we are after China. We are the second. Now, what are the climatic conditions required for cotton? Cotton grows well in drier parts of black cotton soil, rugged soil. Black soil is also named as rugged soil, and basically it is famous for cotton cultivation. Cotton grows well in drier parts of the black cotton soil of the Deccan Plateau. It requires high temperature, light rainfall. That is why it is said drier conditions, light rainfall or irrigation. 210 frost free days. Frost free. There must not be any frost like we have in potato seasons. And bright sunshine for growth. It requires bright sunshine. 210 days bright sunshine for its better growth. It is a kharif crop and requires 6 to 8 months to mature. How long does it take to mature? 6 to 8 months. Major cotton producing states are Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh. So these are states where cotton is cultivated and grown. As you can see in the picture, it is a plant of cotton. Cotton bulbs are seen here. You can see cotton bulbs. Next, jute. What is next crop we are going to discuss? Jute. It is known as the golden fiber. It may be asked in one mark question, what crop is known as the golden fiber? Then you will answer jute is known as the golden fiber. Jute grows well on well drained fertile soils, well drained with irrigation facility. In the flood plains where soils are renewed every year, especially in flood plains where soil is renewed with the flood, it gets renewed. Where soil are renewed every year. High temperature is required during the time of growth, and it requires high temperature during the time of growth. What requires high temperature? Jute requires high temperature during the time of growth. What are the important states for jute production? West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Odisha, Meghalaya. These are major jute producing states. It is used in making gunny bags. You may have seen jute bags, mats, ropes, yarn, carpets, and other artifacts. There are many artifacts in your houses you can see made of jute. Carry bag. Due to its high cost, but it is quite costly. That is why it is also known as golden fiber. It is quite costly due to its high cost. It is losing market to synthetic fiber. Nowadays, we are mostly using plastic bags rather than jute bags, to synthetic fibers and packing materials, particularly the nylon. We are using nylon in place of jute. Why? Because jute is costlier. Now, the next heading that we have, technological and institutional reforms. What made India to be independent in agriculture? What were the reasons? What was the role of government? What was the role of technology? Let's see. Sustained usage of land without compatible techno institutional changes have hindered the pace of agricultural development. You have already studied sustainable development, to use our resources without compromising the need of future generation. But sustained usage of land without compatible techno institutional changes, technological and institutional changes have hindered, stopped, blocked the pace of agricultural development. It had slowed down the pace of development. In spite of development of sources of irrigation, most of the farmers in large parts of the country still depend on monsoon. Most of the farmers in India still depend upon monsoon for their agriculture and natural fertility in order to carry on their agriculture. Not only that, they depend upon the natural fertility of soil. They do not use artificial fertilizers. For a growing population, this poses a serious challenge. For a growing population like we have in India, this poses a serious challenge. This is a serious challenge for us. Agriculture, which provides livelihood for more than 60%, even today, we have already discussed in sectors of Indian economy. More than 50% of people are still engaged in primary sector. Even today, more than 60% of its population needs some serious technical and institutional reform. We need HYV seeds, we need good technology. As you can see in the picture, there are some tools for agriculture, tractor, and other tools. Thus, collectivization. Collectivization. What is collectivization? In India, the size of land is not big, it is very small. So, we need collectivization of all those small patches of land. We need to collect it and make a big farm so that cultivation may be easy. Consolidation of holdings. Consolidation of holdings. Holdings are very small. People have very small land. Cooperation and abolition of jamidari. Cooperation. People started cooperating with each other, and after the freedom, we abolished the jamidari, the system of jamidari, etc., were given priority to bring about institutional reforms in the country after independence. So, all these were brought by the government. These rules and regulations were implemented by the government, and these were given priority to bring about institutional reforms in the country when after independence. Land reform was the main focus of our first 5 year plan. I would like to remind you, first 5 year plan was introduced in 1951. So first 5 year plan had a motive. What was the motive? Land reform. Reformation of land. It was necessary because the people had very small patches of land. The right of inheritance had already led to fragmentation. Suppose your grandfather had such a big field. Now he had four sons. Your grandfather had four sons. This property is divided into four parts. Suppose your father is one and you are two brothers. Further, this will be divided into two parts and this system will go on. So, this is known as fragmentation. Same piece of land is being divided again and again, lead to fragmentation of land holdings, necessitating consolidation of holdings. So it was necessary, there was a great demand for consolidation of holdings. It was required to collectivize those pieces of land, those patches of land. The government of India embarked upon introducing agricultural reforms. So it was compulsory for our government after independence to introduce agricultural reforms to improve Indian agriculture in the 1960s and 1970s. That is why during 1960s and 70s, especially in 1970s, there came the Green Revolution. The Green Revolution based on the use of package technology, and the White Revolution, Operation Flood. White Revolution, that is also known as Operation Flood, which was related to milk, were some of the strategies initiated to improve the lot of Indian agriculture. So these improved, Green Revolution, White Revolution, improved the condition of Indian agriculture. But this too led to the concentration of development in few selected areas. But all these efforts concentrated the development in few selected areas. Therefore, in the 1980s and 1990s, a comprehensive land development program was initiated. So, government decided to launch a comprehensive land development program in 1980s and 1990s, which included both institutional and technical reforms. In these in these programs, development programs, the government included both institutional and technical reforms, new technologies, new institutions, provision for crop insurance against drought. What were the new things added by the government? Provision for crop insurance against drought, flood, cyclone, fire and disease. So government decided to give insurance to farmers in the condition of drought, flood, cyclone, fire and disease. Establishment of Grameen banks. The government established Grameen banks, cooperative societies, and banks for providing loan facilities in money and credit. We have already studied role of banks, and also we have studied SHGs, self-help groups. Loan facilities to the farmers at lower rates of interest were some important steps in this direction. We have already studied formal sector credit and informal sector credit. Formal sector credit is cheaper than informal sector credit, where rate of interest is low. These were some important steps in this direction. So, what were some important steps? Providing loan to the farmer, providing insurance to them, establishing banks, establishing cooperatives. Not only that, there were some other steps taken by the government as well. Kisan Credit Card, KCC, for loan purpose. Personal Accidents Insurance Scheme, PAIS, are some other schemes introduced by the government of India for benefit of the farmers. These schemes are only for farmers. Kisan Credit Card, Personal Accident Insurance Scheme, and these are introduced by government of India. Moreover, special weather bulletins. Not only that, the government issues broadcast special weather bulletins for the welfare of farmers. An agricultural program like DD Kisan for farmers were introduced on the radio and television. The government also announces minimum support price, that is known as MSP. MSP is the minimum support price for any crop. For wheat, for rice, the government decides the minimum support price. Remunerative and procurement prices for important crops to check the exploitation of farmers by speculators and middlemen. Now, the last one in this video, we are going to study the very important topic Bhudan Gramdan, especially related to Binoba Bhave, Acharya Binoba Bhave. After the death of Mahatma Gandhi, he became very prominent leader. Mahatma Gandhi declared Binoba Bhave as his spiritual heir. He also participated in Satyagraha as one of the foremost Satyagrahis. Who? Binoba Bhave. He was one of the votaries of Gandhi's concept of Gram Swarajya. He was in favor of Gandhi's Swarajya, Gram Swarajya, independence of village. After Gandhiji's martyrdom, when Gandhiji died, Binoba Bhave undertook Padayatra to spread Gandhiji's message covered almost the entire country. So he covered almost the entire country to spread the messages of Mahatma Gandhi. Once, when he was delivering a lecture at Pochampalli in Andhra Pradesh, while he was there in Andhra Pradesh in Pochampalli, he was delivering his speech. Some poor landless villagers demanded some land for their economic well being. So there were some poor landless farmers who demanded Binoba Bhave for some land. At that time, he could not promise them for providing land. But he said he will try, he will say to the government, he will talk to the government regarding this. Binoba Bhave could not promise it to them immediately, but assured them to talk to the government of India regarding provision of land for them if they undertook cooperative farming. So, there was a condition if they undertook cooperative farming with cooperation. Suddenly, there was a person, Sri Ramchandra Reddy, who was there in the assembly, stood up. Ramchandra Reddy stood up. Who was the person? Ramchandra Reddy, Sri Ramchandra Reddy stood up and offered. What did he say? I have 80 acres of land. I want it to be distributed to landless farmers, landless villagers. This act was known as Bhudan. This offering was known as Bhudan, charity of land. Later, he traveled and introduced this to other places all over India. Some jamidars, owners of many villages, offered to distribute some villages among the landless. So there were some jamidars, owner of many villages. They offered some villages for landless people. So this was known as Gram Dan, village charity of a village. So this was known as Gram Dan when they offered a whole village for landless. However, many landowners choose to provide some part of their land to the poor farmers due to the fear of land sealing act. This Bhudan Gramdan movement initiated by Binoba Bhave is also known as the bloodless revolution. That's all in this